Hey, 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 Dramaniacs! Welcome, welcome, welcome. Alicia Khoury here, your red carpet CEO. And my mission is to influence, educate, inspire, and entertain you with audacious confidence so you can live more, have more, be more, and live your life without limits or restrictions. Please, 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 please join me and follow me, connect with me on any social media platform. You can find me at the Alicia Khoury on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Instagram, on Facebook. I think I said Facebook twice, but that's okay. So I am so excited to invite you to episode 6 of season 1 of Audacious Confidence here live on Facebook Live. And this episode is here live stream on Dramaniac TV, and it's brought to you by our preferred sponsor, Be Live. And if you are here live, please, please, please give me a hashtag live. If you're watching on the replay, give me a hashtag replay. And if you would like to, please comment, share, subscribe to our channel, subscribe to our page, click to get notifications so you don't miss all the amazing content that we have to offer you here on Dramaniac TV. So subscribe to Dramaniac TV, hit the subscribe button, hit the follow button, hit the like button, whatever platform you're watching us on, just connect with us here on Dramaniac TV. So I wanted to also ask you to share this broadcast out because this is going to be some amazing content for you on the evolution of confidence with my special guest who I will bring on a little bit later. So share this out with your friends, share it out, tag a friend who you think needs to elevate their confidence, evolve their confidence a little bit, because we're going to be sharing some really great tips and some really amazing stories we're going to share with you tonight that some of you might be able to relate to. And I'm sorry, my phone is ringing in the background. But some of these stories that you'll be able to relate to, and maybe you haven't experienced some of these things as deeply, that's not even the word I'm looking for, but it hasn't struck your life as profoundly as my guest has. But sometimes we do struggle with some things in our confidence. So I want you to come here on the Dramaniac TV page so that you can comment and you can share and we can see your comments, because we love to see the comments and interact with you while you are here with us. If you're watching us on any other page, we're not going to see your comments or interact with you, because we do live stream on multiple pages here on Facebook. So we really, really, really want to see you and see what you have to share with us. So please come on to bit.ly/AC show 6. So you can go to bit.ly/AC show 6, and we're going to see your comments live here and be able to interact with you. So when you jump in, please tell me where you are watching from. If this is the first time that you're watching Audacious Confidence, or if you've watched us before, we'd love to welcome you back. So please comment and join in. Also, we have a poll for you today as we are going to be talking about the evolution of confidence. So the poll is, have you ever done anything in your life that has damaged your confidence and you felt that you couldn't recover? So that's the poll that we're going to have throughout the show. You can just click on the poll and interact with us. So have you ever done anything in your life that you felt has damaged your confidence in a way that you couldn't recover? So we want to interact with you there. And let me see. Please drop a hello. Please drop a hello. Say hi in the comments. Let me know you're here. so that I can welcome you to our show. And if you have a friend that is not on Facebook, but you would like them to see the show, because again, we are talking about the evolution of confidence. So if you have a friend that is not on Facebook, because I know a lot of people are on different social media, they might only do Instagram, or they might only do LinkedIn. But if they're not on Facebook, please invite them to join on www.germaniac.com, and they can join in and watch the show live on our website on germaniac.com. So that is another way that people can watch us and not interact, but watch the show live and get this information. And please visit germaniac.com, because we have a ton of content there for you. We have all our shows on germaniac.com, so you can see a lot of different subjects, a lot of different shows that we have, and you can avail yourself of any of those shows. This show is sponsored by AliciaCurry.com as well as Sebastian.com. And so, like I said before, it is broadcast on Germaniac TV, brought to you by our preferred sponsor, Be Live. So now let's get into some content before I bring my guest on. So please, please, please go out and share, because sharing is caring. So make sure you share. And in a moment, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go out and share this broadcast as well. So please don't let me be the only one sharing. So let's talk about our poll. So the poll says, have you ever done anything that has damaged your confidence? So let's talk about the worst mistake that you've ever done in your life that you felt that has possibly derailed your confidence. Oh, that's a big one, because sometimes you feel like you've done something so awful that you cannot recover from it. There's a lot of guilt, a lot of shame, a lot of anger, a lot of hatred towards yourself for doing it. A lot of these things fuel that guilt and shame. And sometimes you feel like you just want to crawl into a hole, right? You just want to crawl into a hole. You don't want to have to deal with it. You don't want anybody to know. You don't want anybody to know what you did, or you don't want anybody to know outside of whoever was involved. You want to just live your life quietly, put on the blinders, and just keep moving. And sometimes by having that attitude that you just don't want to be noticed, you just want to disappear, what happens is you lose confidence. You lose out on opportunities, and you lose a lot of yourself. You lose yourself in there because you cannot forgive yourself, or you cannot get over it, or you're so ashamed that you don't want anybody to know, so you hide yourself away. And I understand that feeling. I don't think that I've ever done anything so devastating that I don't think I can recover from it. I've made some stupid mistakes in my life. I've made some dumb mistakes in my life. But for me, I've always felt that there is forgiveness in anything, that once you are strong enough to face it. So that takes confidence to even be strong enough to face what it is that you've done, or what it is that's been done to you. Sometimes you didn't even do it. Sometimes something has been done to you that you feel this shame. It is not a mistake if we learn and grow from it. Absolutely, Sebastian. So sometimes it's not a mistake. But, in the moment, we see it as a mistake. In the moment, we see it as a big mess up. But sometimes something's been done to you and you feel shame about it, and you don't want anybody to know about it. And so you hide that as well. And what I want to share with you are just 3 little tips. Maybe it'll help you, maybe not, but hopefully it will. three little shifts that you can make in your thought process that can help you recover and evolve your confidence from that point, because you're missing out on life. You're missing out on so many important things and so many opportunities by trying to hide yourself. Now, like I said, I may not think that the mistakes I made were that grand or unforgivable, but at the same time, there were things in my life that I was just hiding myself from because of lack of confidence. So the lack of confidence made me hide, thinking that I wasn't good enough, or I wasn't, I didn't have the right education, or all those negative self-talk things that we do to ourselves that keep our confidence low. So here are my 3 points, and then I'm going to bring my amazing guest, you're going to want to meet her. So she is funny. Oh my gosh. So stick around for that. So first thing you need to ask yourself is, who am I willing to be? Who am I willing to be? Because if you're missing out on opportunities and you're missing out on things, ask yourself, what are you really willing to do in this situation? Who are you willing to be in that situation? And then the second question I want you to ask yourself is, how do I get there from here? Because a lot of times asking the question alone will help your mind and your subconscious start bringing answers to you. Help the universe kind of bring those answers to you. Help God bring those answers to you. So ask yourself, how do I get there where I want to be? I'm willing to be this. Now, how do I get there from where I am today? And then the third thing I want you to ask yourself is, how am I willing to show up for myself in my life to get from here to there? Because you can get there, but still not be showing up in a way that you should be showing up. I remember oftentimes I would be asked to speak in front of a crowd. And the first thing that, before I was a speaker, before I really was trained to be a speaker, and the first thing I would feel is, of course, nerves. And then, well, I can't do that. Or what are they going to think about me? Or I'm going to mess up when I stand in front of all these people. Or, you start having all these self-doubts, which makes your nerves even worse, to tell you the truth. It starts making you feel even more nervous. And then you stand there and you're shaking and your voice is shaking and your mouth is dry and you're feeling like, oh my God, I'm going to look like such a fool standing here and I don't even know what to say. So how are you willing to show up? That question is like, all right, I'm being asked to speak. I have all these self-doubts. I'm nervous as heck. But how am I willing to show up for the people that I am that I'm going to be in front of, that are going to be listening to me and getting this information from me? How am I going to show up to them? Am I going to show up as someone who's scared and nervous and don't really know what I'm doing or what I'm saying? Hey, and anything that I'm doing or saying? Or am I going to show up as, hey, August? Or am I going to really show up because you're now here in service of someone else? So am I really going to show up in service of them? So we have an opportunity to think about, how are we really showing up in this place? And that, my friends, is how you can develop your confidence and evolve your confidence, because you make the decision how you are willing to show up, and you start feeling more confident about yourself and about what you're doing when you make that decision how you're going to show up. So I am, cool. I am now going to, showing up was the most important thing for me, Alicia. It saved me. Oh, that is awesome, August. Yes. When we show up for ourselves, it makes such a huge difference, because in our own minds, we can just keep that negative thought process going on and on and on about you're not good enough, or what are they going to think, or I'm not articulate enough, or I don't have the right education. And we can keep saying all those negative things about ourselves, or we can decide, you know what, I'm going to show up for myself anyway. And you'll be surprised the energy shift that you create by doing that. People respond to you in such a profound way that you didn't even expect that they would respond like that. So thank you, August, for that comment. And I'm so excited. I'm going to bring her up. Okay. So let me introduce her before she gets on camera. I'm going to introduce her. And by the way, you can also make any comments about my amazing producer who is in the background producing the show, Mr. Sebastian One. And just, in the comments, just put up a 4. Just let him know that he's doing a phenomenal job in the comments. I just want to throw that out there. So as a speaker, author, and photographer, CeCe's passion is traveling the world and meeting fascinating people. But back in 1997, she had a criminal conviction for drug conspiracy. That is a big mistake. That is like an oops on a large magnitude. Yes, there's a 4. How much times is that? 2 million times, August? Yay! So she had a criminal conviction for drug conspiracy back in 1997. She served her time in solitary confinement for almost a year. She was in solitary confinement. So this goes to tell you something too, that she didn't quite have a good attitude while she was in prison either, right? So she served her time in solitary confinement and came out after serving her time, doing her time, not serving, doing time. She came out and became, after some time, and she's going to go into her story a little bit. We're going to talk a little bit about her story. But eventually she became a wedding photographer. And then she became one of the most on-demand wedding photographers in South Florida. I can say that because I know her. She is in high demand. In 2012, she was granted clemency by Florida Governor Rick Scott, and that changed her business forever. So now she gets to do the 2 things that she's most passionate about: working with socially responsible corporations that hire ex-offenders and permanently sealing the joy of weddings for her clients. So she's come a long way from being an ex-con known as the worst server at a local restaurant to now the most amazingly confident woman that is an author, a Tedx speaker, a photographer, and so much more. She has also, this is top secret, so don't tell anybody I told you this, but she has been invited to do her second TEDx, but we can't tell anybody yet because it's still a big secret. So shh, don't say anything. So I would like to welcome to the show my friend, most amazing photographer, CeCe Espeut. Yay! Hey, CeCe.
Hey, how are you?
Oh, I'm so excited to have you. And I told everybody that you're funny, so I'm gonna get ready. They're gonna get ready to laugh.
Okay. So let me tell you, I heard that introduction, and when you said I served time,
I know.
I was like, listen, I didn't serve time, I did time, and I did not do it willingly, and that's why I was in solitary confinement, because I just kept on running my mouth. So,
well, we did say you weren't a good server anyway. Right. You weren't a good server in the restaurant. Sorry, right. August said, wow, that you have such a powerful testimony. So please, please, please participate in the poll when you see it pop up. Participate in the poll for us today. So CeCe, my dear, that is an amazing story, like August said. Tell us, what were your feelings? Because we're talking about the evolution of confidence. So what were your feelings when you were convicted?
You know, I really have to say that that was a low point in my life. Prior to that, I was a U.S. Marine. I was an aircraft mechanic. I was in charge of of a jet that didn't get to fly unless I said so. So I had all this power, and I was just, full of myself. So when I got arrested for drug conspiracy and then convicted, I was devastated. My energy, my confidence was at zero. It was terrible.
Yeah. From aircraft mechanic, because, you were like bopping and feeling good, to getting arrested and then.
Yeah. It was pretty bad for me. And I didn't even know how bad it was until after I got out of prison and then started to rebuild my life. So
Wow. So tell me when you.
So how did I feel? It was crazy. I can't even, it was just a series of really, really dumb mistakes. And, I can't even tell you why I did what I did. I came from a good family, and it was just life. It was just life that happened. And there I was. I was in prison.
And so solitary confinement, that's not a good place to be. And that can also really hurt your confidence as well. Because you said you didn't really realize it because you had to have some kind of a thick skin develop while you're in there just to protect yourself, just as a shield.
Not really in the way that you would think. In fact, I think going in, my skin was a little too thick. And I always say, that thank God for solitary confinement, because what it really did for me, and I know this sounds weird, but it gave me a chance to listen to my heart and really get to know myself and listen to God, because I don't think I was really hearing him before that. I was just ripping and running. And so I was allowed to have 2 books. One of them was the Bible. And for me, I needed that.
That's invaluable. That's invaluable.
Mm-hmm.
So coming out now, you said that you didn't realize your confidence was low until you actually came out. What was the awareness? How did that happen for you?
Okay, so I actually have a college degree in math. And, so prior to that, I thought I was a big shot. I know numbers. I'm this aircraft mechanic. And I come out and I have to get a job within 2 weeks, so they're going to send me back.
Right.
I end up getting a job at a local restaurant. And I am the worst server ever.
Oh, I'm saying hi to my mommy in India. Hello. Oh. That's Sebastian's mom that's saying hi.
Okay, nice.
Sorry. So you're the worst server
right
ever.
And I hear this manager telling another server that I am absolutely the worst server. And I'm thinking to myself, like, what? Like, at this job, I am the worst? I mean, so, that was really damaging to my self-confidence. Yes.
So, okay. So not even being in prison, but the compounding effect that now I'm being labeled as the worst at a job that, how bad can I really get?
Right.
I'm taking the food, I'm taking your orders, I'm taking the food to your table. That's pretty bad.
Yes.
So,
yep.
And tell everybody, because I know I listened to your TEDx talk, and I'm going to brag a little bit because I kind of helped you craft it a little bit. Just a little bit. but tell everybody how, when you came out of prison, what the prison guard told you and what you said, and then fast forward to now being the worst server, how that made you make a decision.
Right. So I'm in solitary confinement for almost a year, and it's April 1st, and the guard opens up the gate and says, well, you're being released. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, dude, I'm not going anywhere. It's April Fool's, April 1st. I'm sitting right here. And they're telling me, like, no, you've got to go. So imagine the setup there. I'm in solitary confinement and I don't want to leave. Okay. So
I'm second solitary.
Right. So obviously, you know, some stuff was going on up here, right? I was going a little mental. And as I stepped through the gates, the guard says to me, "See you soon." And I'm like, what? Like, are you coming to Miami? and then she proceeds to give me the statistics on the rate at which people come back to prison. And instantly, I realized that I had a choice, because before, I don't even know that I had thought of what was going to happen to me or what I was going to do when I got out. But when she asked me that question, then I was like, oh, okay. Not only do I need to make some decisions, but, you know, I've got choices.
Right. So what is the percentage of recidivism?
At that time, it was 96%.
So that means 96% of ex-offenders end up back in prison within
a year. Within a year. And usually it's shorter than that, you know. And let me just tell you, thank you for calling me an ex-offender instead of an ex-con, because
I did say you were an ex-con before that, by the way.
Okay, so all right, I'm just trying to be nice here and really bring you back in. Sometimes when we're labeled with words such as ex-con or ex-convict, it does something to your psyche. It does something to your heart.
To your self-esteem and your confidence.
Right.
That is a very harsh term.
You know, when you think of ex-con, you think of somebody who's on a chain gang, you know, with a ball and chain, and that's not what it is. I am somebody who made a mistake and now I'm doing better. So ex-offender is the new politically correct term.
That's the correct terminology, the ex-offender. Yes, all right, so now let's fast forward to being called the worst server in the restaurant. So you went from now her telling you, oh, you'll be back. You'll be back in a year, to now saying, wait a second, I'm the worst server here. So what flipped in you to say, well, I got to make some changes here?
Right. I automatically, I'm right. So I don't even know the word for it, but if you challenge me or give me a test, automatically I am going to rise to the occasion. And so, you know, being told that I'm the worst and that I'm coming back, I was like, I know that's not true. You know, heck no. And I said, well, if I have to get a job, if I have to be in this situation, let it be something that I want to do, you know? Right. And sometimes, let me tell you, God gives you the answers to your questions when you don't even know how to form the question. One of the other servers came up to me and she said, CeCe, I'm going to be getting married. I only have $500. Would you be my wedding photographer?
Because you were interested in photography before. So.
Well, no. I was always a photographer as a hobby.
Right.
But because she didn't.
1 second. Give me a timeout for 1 second, because my producer's telling me people are watching on various pages, and I want to make sure that they can comment and we can see their comments and they can interact with us. So please come to the @Dramaniac TV page here on Facebook. So it's facebook.com/Dramaniac TV, so that we can see your comments, because I know you want to interact with CeCe and I want you to interact with CeCe. So come to the Dramaniac TV page here on Facebook, or you can just type in bit.ly/ACShow6. All right. Thank you. Go on, CeCe.
Right. So, you know, she came to me and said she only had $500. Could I be her wedding photographer? Now, at the time, I was making $2.15 as the worst server in that restaurant. And I quickly did the math, figured out like if I did one wedding a week, I was going to be making way, way more than I was making as a server in a month. So that's how I made the switch. You know, I decided I was going to do something that I enjoyed.
Awesome. So then now that's the switch that went off in your head. It's like, wait a second. I can actually do something. I have some skills. I have some talents. And so you shot her wedding. You did a great job. Of course, you did a great job. So I just want to make the point, because I did say earlier, it's how you're showing up. So you have to make a conscious effort to show up for yourself. So you took your camera and you said, I could do that. And you had enough confidence in your skills as a photographer to go do it. So sometimes you just have to kind of take inventory of what you got.
Right.
What do I have? What can I do? You know? And so then you shot that. So how did that turn into a business for you?
Well, like I said, she paid me $500, and I knew that it would cost $50 to get a business license and be legal. That's what I did.
Because you're all in the straight and narrow now.
I'm straight and narrow.
I am walking the straight and narrow now. I am not going back to prison.
Especially not for tax evasion.
Not for
tax evasion.
So you got your business license. You started. How did you start getting more? Was it just word of mouth? Did you do? How did that process go?
You know, it really was word of mouth, just letting people know that I was there, I was available. I remember I would say that you could contact me anytime, day or night, for a wedding. And there was one Sunday morning when somebody contacted me 30 minutes
before the wedding.
Before the wedding. Now, talking about a bridezilla, that should have been my first clue. But yeah, she pushed back her wedding for another 20 minutes. And so within an hour, I was there shooting her wedding. So,
wow. So, well, that's awesome. So I want to switch gears a little bit, because as you became more and more known as a photographer, and as you started doing more and more things in photography, you hid the fact that you were an ex-offender.
Yes, I did.
You felt a lot of shame around that. You didn't want people to know. What was the feelings? What were you really doing?
You know, I think I was just a private person. I don't even know that I knew that it was shame or guilt, because I was just going in, doing my job, and then leaving. And as a photographer, I didn't really get to socialize a lot. It was, you know, it was all about my client.
It's all about the client.
It's all about the client. They don't need to know me. They just need to know that, you know, I'm coming with my camera and I can do the job.
Right.
And then I joined a couple business groups, and we started networking. And then people started saying, well, listen, people are not getting married every week in this group, but they're business owners who need headshots.
Right.
And they're having events. Would you consider doing something like that? And so then my business shifted, and I started focusing more on speakers and authors.
Right. And doing events. And that's how we met, actually. We met at an event. I want to recognize Santosh saying she's very proud of you, CeCe. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So we met at a business event, and you took some pictures of me. And then you became sort of my unofficial official photographer. You became anytime I was like, CeCe, I need some pictures. Okay.
Right.
By the way, I need some more pictures, just so
okay,
you know.
All right.
I know you're getting all big and stuff, but before you get too big, remember, I do your makeup, you do my pictures, and that's the deal we have.
That's the deal between us.
No matter how big we get, I do your makeup, you do my pictures.
Right.
So as that shifted for you, and you started getting around more authors and speakers, and I remember this time because this is when I met you, and we were working together with these authors and speakers. I would do makeup, you would do the photos,
Right.
and that's kind of how we developed an even stronger relationship between one another. But then you decided to write a book, and you decided to write a book after I wrote my book.
Oh, no.
So, you know.
I wrote my book. I do have my book.
I know. And then you wrote your book. So, but I wrote my book first, just so you know.
Okay. All right. Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
Because I remember sitting in Cassie's living room, taking pictures, you know, talking about all the things that we're going to do and stuff. And then you dropped this bombshell on us that you were an ex-offender, that you went to prison, and you're like, well, yeah, I have something to tell you guys. And we're like, what? So was starting to tell that story. How was that really difficult for you?
Oh,
Were you
extremely.
wondering how people would feel? So walk me through that, because again, the topic is the evolution of confidence. And if there's something that you're hiding that's really holding you back, that could be your key, your ticket to actually taking you a lot further.
Right. Well, I do want to say that they have an old adage that says, if you've got 5 friends that do a certain thing, you'll probably be the 6th one. Okay. So in my case, all my friends were speakers and authors. Everybody I knew was writing a book. And so when people started asking me, CeCe, right? When people started asking me, CeCe, what's your story? How comes you just come in, you do pictures, and then you leave?
And leave.
We don't know anything about you. And I think that day when we were with our other friend, Cassie, because it was her home, I just felt this burning desire to say, hey, listen, if you've invited me into your home, if I'm going to be breaking bread with you, then I need to tell the truth. I need to say, you know, hey, this is my story.
Yeah. And that was because I know we weren't the first people that you told, though, but it's still, or were we?
You were probably like the 2nd or 3rd. Yeah, you were very, very, very close to the top. I figured I would test it out on you guys first.
And see if we kick you out and say, oh, for shame, CeCe.
Right.
No way. Yeah. Oh, Santosh is saying we're funny. Yeah, you haven't seen the half of it. And being able to tell your story a little bit more, because I want people to understand that sometimes when you start telling your story to people, when you start giving your experience to people, that there are people that are going to judge you, but there are also people that are going to support you. And there are people who are going to love you and see how can I help? How can I, be of service? How can we get this to be a benefit, to you and to others? And as you started telling your story, that evolved into your book, because you got pardoned in 2012. Now you can lift the book up. Yes.
Right.
I got pardoned in 2012. And that was kind of the catalyst for all that's happening right now with you.
Correct.
Because as you got pardoned, how did that process, where did that even come from? How did that happen?
So at heart, I'm a researcher. And when I would hear the terms, getting your record sealed or expunged or getting a pardon, and I did not know what the terms meant. So what I did was I just started researching. What do the different words mean? How do you get it? And then people started asking me, somebody would call me and say, oh, my husband went to prison for the weekend. And I was like, no, he didn't. He went to jail, or they would just use the wrong terminology. And that's why I realized that I needed to write this book so that we would all be on the same page. So this is kind of, this book is just
let's hold it up for a second so Sebastian can put you solo. Not in front of your face. Not in front of your face. Yeah. So this book helps you understand the terminology, right? It helps you to make sure that you know the process.
Correct.
To getting your life back, getting your rights back.
Right. Now, what I realized is that each state is different, which that in itself is a travesty, because in the United States, we're one country. It should be one law. Right. And then come to find out that in countries across the world, where I thought that me going to prison was a black or a brown thing here in Florida, no, it's so much bigger. It's a universal problem. It's a universal nightmare where people go to prison for the craziest reasons.
Wow. Right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Very true.
And it's what do you do when you come out of prison? And so that's when I started going to different places and talking. And
so now you go back into the prisons. So she wasn't wrong. You did come back, but you didn't. But you didn't come back. August says that he's speechless. CeCe, you're so amazing. He'll ask his brother to contact you. Thank you, August. Yeah. So you go back into the prisons now to serve, to help them understand the terminology, help them understand what they can do when they get out, that recidivism, which you can explain to everybody what recidivism is, so that recidivism, we can lower those cases by educating them, by giving them education, by giving them hope. So explain recidivism.
Okay, so recidivism is a technical term for the revolving door when people keep going back to prison. So you might be released and then you get rearrested for something else or the same thing, but it's the technical term, the revolving door, going back to prison.
All right.
That's recidivism.
And so now you wrote the book. You started thinking, I could be a speaker. I think I could speak. I need to step out from behind the camera.
Okay, so no, that was not the process.
I know. The process.
So I got invited in 2010 to speak to a group of inmates in a prison. And so I'm there and I'm speaking to them. And once again, by this time, my confidence level is increasing. And I think I'm all of that, okay? So I'm going into these prisons and I'm speaking and I'm trying to be a motivational speaker. And by that time, I had hired a business coach, a guy by the name of Velton Showell.
Oh, I know Velton.
Oh, you know Velton. Okay.
Yeah.
So Velton says to me, CeCe, you need to go to Toastmasters and learn how to talk. And I'm like, no, I know how to talk. I've been talking to people in prison. And he says to me, CeCe, they're a captive audience.
They ain't going nowhere. They can't run away.
He said, we don't know if you're any good because the outside people can't come in to listen and the people inside have to stay. So I figured,
that is so good.
Let me go to Toastmasters and,
start getting some professional help.
Right, yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Good point, Velton.
Yeah,
Good
so
point.
Velton Showell, hey, my time with him was very valuable.
That is
very
so
valuable.
good. So then you're going to Toastmasters, your weekly meetings, and Santor said they got no choice yet. Yes. So you're doing these weekly meetings. Your confidence is building up a little bit more. You're seeing your friends speaking out there. Okay, I'm gonna stop self-promoting so much. All right. So you see everybody else getting out there doing their speaking, and you now it's not that easy to do a TEDx. Just for anyone who is watching, it really isn't that easy to be on a TEDx stage.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Santos, you're funny. That she may need to go to jail to be funny like you. Please, no. No.
No, no, no.
Please. Listen, you're already funny like us because you made that comment. So, Santos, you got it. You already got it. But so TEDx is not an easy stage to get on. And was that a decision that you made that I'm going to get on a TEDx stage, or was it just that the opportunity presented itself? Because I know you started volunteering for TEDx, but
Right. So once again, our friend Cassie Eubank, who she happened to have been, begins with anything in a salad. Okay. So there's usually some bad decisions being made, but
well, the cruise, when we went on the cruise, that was pretty darn good because we went on that cruise to learn how to speak and do all those kind of things. So yeah, we're not promoting
alcohol. No,
we're not promoting alcohol at all. We're saying that that's where bad decisions start.
Right.
That's the beginning of any bad decision.
Right. I want to be perfectly clear on that. Most bad decisions start with alcohol. So eat a salad. Eat the salad. But in water. Right. In this case, Cassie and I were watching the sunset and we're thinking, what do we want to do? And we decided we wanted to be on the big stage. Mm-hmm. TEDx was the big stage to me back then, and it really still is. Anyway, long story short, we volunteered and I got to see how the back end works of TEDx. And then 2 years later, I applied, and my life has never been the same.
Nice.
I just got an email a couple days ago inviting me to do my second TEDx. And I am so excited, and I want to...
I know you want to scream it from the rooftop.
Right, but I can't.
I can't.
Right, until they make the official announcement, I can't say anything.
Awesome. That is awesome. So how was that journey? Because I know it was quite extensive. How was that journey to, after being sort of selected? Because there's a huge selection process. Correct. I know I've been rejected multiple times from TEDx. So it's a huge... You can laugh, CeCe. You can laugh.
No, but listen.
Yes.
I happen to have it on good authority.
Don't say anything.
I happen to know. Listen, I've got a direct connect.
Don't say it.
All right. I've got a direct connect.
Let's just move on.
All right. I've got a direct connect. So.
Okay, ma'am.
Right. Hey, so you're on my prayer list.
Thank you, my dear. How was that process? Because I was there with you for some of it, but how was that process?
You know what? It was actually, it's everything I thought it was going to be, and more and less. I mean, it's definitely something that everybody should do at least once in a lifetime, if they can. It was just amazing. And I have to say thank you to you for being there with me. I don't know that I could have done it with such poise had you not been there with me. So thank you.
Aww. Listen, I wasn't going to miss it for the world. I definitely appreciated you bringing me along in the process because I got to meet a lot of the people there. And so I really appreciated that because we had some fun times and no alcohol was involved.
No alcohol.
But we had some fun times. And I think TEDx Boca did it right because there's some people who did TEDx's and it was just really like no build up, no promotion, they had the promotion stuff down. They did a lot of events. They had a full audience there, even though it was like a monsoon outside.
Right.
Still had a full audience. So TEDx Boca was really, really great. So I'm just giving them a little shout out, TEDx Boca. But so walk our viewers through the evolution process that it took for you to go from inmate to author, speaker, photographer, all this great grand stuff that you're doing, and it's just the beginning because there's so much more for CeCe. I'm telling you, there's so much more for her. So just walk us through, like, how did it feel? What did you experience? That kind of stuff.
All right. So it all starts with the decision, of deciding what do you want in life. And in my case, when I was leaving prison that day, deciding that I was never going back. Right. Now, of course, we know that I go back all the time now.
Not as an inmate.
But not as an inmate. So
not as an inmate.
Right.
Yeah.
Make that distinction. And once I made that decision that I was never going back, everything that I did in my life after that was with that idea in mind. So I'm not buying anything that falls off the back of a truck. I don't want anything that's a deal. I don't want any 2-for-1 deals. No, nothing like that,
So that decision led you on the path of making sure that you are in the right all the time. And then how did that affect your confidence? Because you knew you made a good decision. So now.
How did that affect my confidence? It affected it, like, as far as photography goes, I set out to be the best photographer that I could be. So I went back to school.
You up-leveled your skills.
Right. That's exactly
what happened as you create more skills for yourself and you get more experience, your confidence starts rising.
Right. Correct.
And that's the same thing with the speaking. You go back into the prisons and you help them out, but the more you do that too, the more your confidence rises. So your confidence was rising by doing.
Right.
So every time you made that decision, I'm like, this is going to take me here instead of back there. So I need to know what it is I need to do.
Correct.
I need to get the skills, get the experience, and then take myself to the next level. And that's and so when you decided to speak, it was the same process. You did. You went to Toastmasters, you up-leveled your skill, you got more experience, boom, TEDx. And now more TEDx. And now what's next for Miss CeCe?
Well, I do have another book coming out. So I'm really, really excited about that. And there are a couple other big stages that I want to be able to talk on. So it's really funny. All these things are secret until the official announcement is made. So
all right. Well, I just want to say, if you're watching us on any other page but the Germaniac page, please come to the Germaniac page so that we can see your comments. We also have a poll going, and the poll is all about what is the worst, if your confidence has ever been hurt by the worst mistake that you've ever made in your life. We're talking to my guest, CeCe Espeut, who went from inmate to TEDx speaker. She's a great photographer, author, and all these great things that she's doing. And we're just talking about her evolution of her confidence. This show is broadcast on Germaniac TV, and it is brought to you by our preferred sponsor, Be Live. And you are watching Season 1, Episode 6 of Audacious Confidence. So, Miss CeCe, as we're getting ready to wrap up, this time just flew. Can you believe it flew by? Right. So, as we're getting to wrap up, do you have any tips for our viewers, our audience, that can help them understand that life ain't over?
Life ain't over. Well, let me back up, because I want to say something that I think you talk about the evolution of my speaking. The first time I ever spoke in prison, I was there for like an hour. I spent, I think, 50 minutes, maybe 45 minutes talking about myself and my story. And I saw everybody's eyes glaze over.
Oh, Santosh, thank you. She wants us to keep talking.
Right. And I just remember after that, that was like one of my most embarrassing moments. And after that, now, whenever I go in and I speak, I just give them the short version of my story, because really and truly, they're interested in what they can do when they get out of prison, how they can change their life. Right. They've made a mistake. How can they,
And can I tell you something? That is the I don't want to say the number one, but that is one of the most important keys to confidence. Is when you shift your focus from you to who you're serving, it no longer becomes about you. And so your confidence level rises because you are able, because you are able to now give back to them, and you're not so self-conscious anymore.
Right.
So keep going, CeCe. So
right. It's just the way I do my talks right now is I will introduce myself, tell them a little bit, I was in the Marine Corps, I made a mistake, and I got a pardon. What do you want to know about that situation? How can that help you? Because everybody, has their own version of what happened and how they can do this. And it's like, listen, no, these are the facts. I've researched it. In Florida, this is the way you get your record sealed, expunged, or pardoned. So, yeah.
And also, there was a big vote. There's a big vote recently. How does that affect also ex-offenders?
All right. So Florida Amendment 4 gave ex-offenders the right to vote back in Florida, which I'm not saying I had anything to do with it, but I did do 30 interviews in 30 days on the subject. So, but
just take credit, CeCe. Just take the credit.
Okay. All right. So I did those interviews, and what ended up happening was 1.4 million people in the state of Florida got the right to vote back. All right. So that is huge. There's a lot of guys that worked on that. Dexter Gunn, Desmond Meade, Mona Lisa Weber, they all, were involved in that.
How about how they're able to work again?
Right. Because
does that affect that too?
Yes. Because here's what happens is it's all about dollars and cents. And when you've got a pool of people, 1.4 million people in the state of Florida, that's a lot of resources.
Yeah.
And so when you have a socially conscious company that is willing to hire, from this pool of people, because this is a lot of skill and talent out there, it changes everything. It changes from the political to the financial, everything. So, yeah. And what I do is companies will hire me to come in and help them, train this population of people, how to fit back into the workplace, how to.
That's excellent.
So it's actually a very, very rewarding for me. It really makes me feel because
then they don't have to be the worst server ever.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So Sebastian.com hires ex-offenders as well, which is great. They give them the second chance. And that is a great, that's a great thing. And this show is brought to you by AliciaCurry.com and Sebastian.com. So we are all, doing our part to help those, because not everyone who makes a mistake that ends up in prison, in jail, are bad people. Sometimes you get caught up in something that is a bad situation. And so you have to be willing to see them for who they are and what they can bring, instead of the mistake that they've made, or just being wrapped up in being in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Correct.
And so when someone has served their time or done their time, they've done their time. They didn't serve it. somebody's done their time. And they want an opportunity, and they want that second chance, and they're coming to you for help. It's up to us to really give them that second chance to help rebuild their confidence and show that they can still be very valuable members of society, much like you. And you're not just a valuable member of society. You are excelling, and you are pulling people up. So I applaud you, CeCe. I thank you so much for being in my life, for being my friend, for coming on the show, and for taking my next set of pictures. Say yes. I have that on tape. Yay! Don't tell me you're busy now.
Okay, all right. Let me pull out that calendar.
It's like, I'm a 2-time TEDx speaker. I don't know who you are. So thank you so much for coming on the show. I really, really, really appreciate you. Love you. And for those of you who want to get in touch with CeCe, please go to germaniac.com/CeCe. And it's just CeCe. That's very easy. So CeCe, you can find CeCe on germaniac.com, or you can connect with her on Facebook, CeCe the photographer. And don't ask her to do your wedding because she is just too big to be doing wedding. Okay. All right. She's going to do your wedding. I'm going to tell you. She's going to do your wedding. You just got to make sure that you have the money.
Yeah, right.
So, anyway, it's time to wrap up. We have run out of time. So if you have any last words, say them now, because we're going to go bye-bye.
Can I say one thing?
Yes.
I love Sebastian. I think oh my gosh. We're supposed to say 4 in the comment, but I just want to go on record, on the internet, on everywhere, and say I absolutely love him. He is
Sebastian.
Sebastian. He is patient. He is kind. I mean, yeah. So,
he is blushing.
Right. Totally love him. All
right. Yes. Okay. He says big thanks to you, CeCe. So, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Yes. Ify, is that how you pronounce it?
Oh, my girl from way back in Brooklyn.
That she's so proud of you, CeCe. So I want to say thank you to CeCe. Thank you all for watching and joining us and liking and sharing and commenting. We really appreciate you. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, subscribe to Germaniac TV, go like our page on Facebook, and connect with me and CeCe on all social media platforms. Mine is the Alicia Curry. You can look for CeCe Espeut and go to germaniac.com/CeCe. And you can go to germaniac.com and watch the replay of this show as well. So thank you so much, everyone, for being a part of this. We love you, love you, love you. And we like to say here on Germaniac TV that you dream big and we make it happen. Good night, everybody. Mwah.